Hey everyone, welcome to this video tutorial. We are focusing on how to write a paragraph that will hit that top band, resulting in you getting that A grade. This video will show you exactly how to do that. Focus of this one is on the impact of educational policies on the inequality of achievement. So you want to bag that A grade, you've got excellent knowledge and you understand, but how do you put it in a paragraph that hits that top band? So let's have a look at what we have to do by looking at the mark scheme. So this mark scheme is from a legacy exam paper from 2015, and what I've done is I have reworded the question in order to it to be in the current exam style, and also I've just rejigged the mark scheme a bit as well, just so it matches what we are used to with the current mark schemes. So the question that we're going to be answering is: apply material from the item and your knowledge, evaluate the impact of government education policies on inequalities of achievement between different social groups. You get yourself an item as well. So this is the item that was on that legacy June 2015 paper, and here is the mark scheme also. So looking at that top band, answers in this band will be sound conceptually detailed knowledge of a range of the impact of the government policies on inequality and achievement. It is applied accurately and with sensitivity to the issues raised in the question. So there's quite a lot to unpick here, because you've got to talk about educational policies, the impact of them on inequalities. So are they getting bigger, wider or smaller? And you need to make sure that you reference different social groups, so class, gender and ethnicity. But we also need to take into account this bit at the bottom, which is analysis and evaluation. So your evaluation may be developed through the debate to how far the policies have widened the gap or narrowed the gap of the different social groups, or do these educational policies have different aims or effects? So does it do something else? Analysis will show clear explanations and appropriate conclusions will be drawn. So let's have a look at a student answer for this question on educational policies. So this answer starts off with a knowledge about an educational policy that was introduced in 1988, the Education Reform Act. It was brought in by the Conservative government. It was creating an education market, and we've got some early reference of the item. It's very clearly linked and clearly signposted there. And then what this student does is starts to explain what these education policies were aiming to do. So we've got the introduction of standardised testing, Ofsted and Lee tables, and we're explaining what they are as well, showing that knowledge and understanding. So ranking schools to exam performance, which was aimed to give parents the right to choose the best school. We've got reference to a study here, so this is from David, who calls this parentocracy, and we define what that is as well, ruled by parents. So we've got lots of knowledge to unpick there. So what's the impact or the result of these policies? And this is where we're going to start to show the application. So as a result, these schools compete with one another to raise their standards. They're doing that to attract pupils and parents, with the aim of poorly performing schools having to raise their standards to avoid closure as well. So it's at both ends of the spectrum. And this is where we're making that link to the question. We're applying it specifically and sensitively to the demands of the question. So this aimed to raise the standards for all school pupils and narrowing the inequality gap. However, and this is where we start to do the AO3, and we're going to do a little bit of analysis here. So we're going to apply it to our first social group here, which is a class. So we're going to compare the middle class with the working class. So middle class parents benefit from these policies because they've got cultural and economic capital. So they use their knowledge, their cultural knowledge, to understand the importance of knowing league tables, how to interpret them, what do they tell you, but also the application and appeals procedures. If they can't get into the school that they desire, they know what to do in order to challenge that system. They also use their wealth to move closer to the better schools. So they've got a cultural advantage and an economic advantage. Here we've got the analysis, because we're going to compare it to the working class. And we've got a bit of we've got a key word here. They are referred to as disconnected local choosers, because they're more likely to send their kids to the local schools, the schools nearer their homes, and they tend to go off word of mouth from friends rather than using and understanding what these league tables are telling them really. So these tend to be in poorly performing schools in poorer areas as such. Okay, and as a result, the idea of parentocracy to raise achievement is then criticised because it's a myth, and we're ending our paragraph with some evaluation. It appears to benefit everybody, like what we've mentioned, giving parents the choice to send the kids to the best schools. However, the middle class who take advantage of it, and as a result, continues to widen the inequality gap between middle class and working class, and that is that link back to the question. Okay, it's all about inequality of achievement. Okay, so as you can see, this paragraph goes through the different skills. It starts off with the item at the top. You've got lots of AO1, backs up with studies. We're making sure that we are applying it specifically to the question, which is about the impact on inequality of achievement, and we've made very explicit reference to a social group, in this case social class. We show the analysis by comparing the classes. We make sure that we are applying it back to the question, and we end with some evaluation. So in summary, make sure you've got conceptually detailed knowledge of a range of sociological viewpoints, especially about those, the debate with the educational policies and the impact of them. Make sure you're applying your knowledge sensitively to meet the demands of the question. So the impact of policies and the inequalities of achievements would be very specific to the social group. In this case, we talked about social class, but other paragraphs you might talk about gender inequality or ethnicity inequality as well. Make sure you've got explicit evaluation. Open that debate. Are they widening or narrowing the achievement gap of these different groups? Or do these policies have a different aim to start with, which then has a knock-on effect, or vice versa? And make sure that your analysis is those clear explanations. So I thought I'd add in some next steps. Explore each of these policies. I went through the mark scheme for this legacy paper, and these were some of the things that came up on the mark scheme that you could write about. And you've got a range of different policies there, and explain how they raise or narrow the achievement gap. And I've linked to this handout in the description below. You might even want to add on further policies or different columns and things like that. But what I do want you to do is just have a think about, what is the policy, who introduced it, when was it introduced, what was the aim, what was it designed to do? Remember, different policies have different aims, which could have an outcome on educational achievement and the differences of it. What was the outcome? So we'll apply it to the question. Did it widen or narrow the gap? What social groups does it affect? So class, gender, ethnicity, more than one will affect more than one's different social groups, and start to compare them. And is there any evaluation? Then you can have a go at writing your own paragraph. You can also link to other concepts and ideas as well, such as cultural capital, skilled and semi-skilled and disconnected choosers, cream skimming, silt shifting, meritocracy, myth of meritocracy, liberal feminist ideas, A to C economy. Just make sure that you are addressing the inequality of achievement according to class, gender and ethnicity. So massive thank you for watching. This tutorial is aimed to show you how to write a top-man paragraph, bag yourself that A grade. The link to the handout is in the description below, and make sure you check out some of my other videos which are exploring how to get into the top band and to show your knowledge of sociology. Have a great day, and I shall see you again soon. Bye.